The majestic doors of the courtroom swung open to reveal a space where truth and integrity were the only currencies of value. Judge Eboni K. Williams walked toward her elevated bench with a grace that suggested both a southern charm and a sharp northern intellect. She looked down at the nameplate that sat before her. It was a simple object, yet it carried the weight of authority and the promise of equal justice. She reminded everyone present that she was the daughter of North Carolina by way of Louisiana, carrying with her some West Coast cool and a distinct New York edge. In this particular courtroom, the only thing that mattered was how she saw the facts. She looked at the individual standing before her and asked if there was a problem. The woman standing at the plaintiff's podium shook her head and replied that she had no problem at all. The judge explained that equal justice was about the most important values of the country, which included freedom and integrity. These were the things she was striving for every single day. She looked at the woman and told her that while she might run her own household, the man standing across from her had the right to run his as well. The judge shared that she had decided to become an attorney and pursue the law because she wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. She made it clear that this court would not hold people accountable without merit. Her court was a place for people from all sectors of life, whether they were black or white or purple, whether they were gay or straight or queer. That was the essence of equal justice with Judge Eboni K. Williams. Today the court was gathered to hear the case of Cheryl Collins and Jason Sutton. Cheryl Collins claimed she was stuck paying a significant bill after her very first date snuck out in the middle of the meal. Jason Sutton argued that he had invited the plaintiff for drinks only, but she had arrived late and ignored him entirely, which led him to bail on the situation. The judge greeted them both and noted that Cheryl Collins was suing Jason Sutton for the amount of $218.69. She asked Ms. Collins why they were in court today. Ms. Collins explained that on the 20th of May last year, Mr. Sutton had invited her out on a date and then proceeded to walk out on the tab. The judge was surprised to hear that a man would ask a woman on a date and then leave before the bill arrived. She asked for more details, starting with how they had met. Ms. Collins explained that she was a professional social media influencer and Mr. Sutton had found her page and slid into her direct messages. They had been talking for a couple of weeks and chatting over the phone. Originally, he had asked her out on 2 different dates, first for coffee and then for ice cream. However, those dates never happened. Ms. Collins clarified that she did not drink coffee and she was lactose intolerant, so she had declined those specific invitations. The judge listened as Ms. Collins continued her story. After they continued talking, they decided on a dinner date for a Friday at 5:30. Unfortunately, the timing did not work out with the schedule of Ms. Collins. She had to reschedule on him twice. The first time was due to her work as she was on a fashion shoot that lasted longer than she had anticipated. The judge acknowledged that being an influencer was how Ms. Collins paid her bills. She noted that while some people might be dismissive of that career, the reality was that some influencers made over $100,000 a year. Ms. Collins was presented very beautifully to the court, and the judge recognized that this was a lucrative business that required her to show up. Ms. Collins confirmed this and mentioned the second time she had to reschedule was because her father fell ill. He lived nearby, and she often went over to take care of him. There were 2 reschedules, and Mr. Sutton appeared to be understanding at first. Eventually, their schedules aligned, and they were able to make it to the date on time. They had scheduled the meeting for 5:30 on a Friday, but Ms. Collins arrived at 6:15. She was 45 minutes late. Mr. Sutton made a comment about his ability to do math, and the judge acknowledged that 45 minutes was not just a little bit late. Ms. Collins blamed the traffic, but the judge urged her to continue. When Ms. Collins finally arrived at 6:15, she noticed the energy of Mr. Sutton. The judge pointed out that arriving 45 minutes late for a first meeting in person does not make a great impression. Any excitement he had might have been compromised by the long wait. Ms. Collins agreed, but noted that Mr. Sutton actually looked better in person than he did in his photos. He was not very photogenic, but he was doing pretty well in real life. The judge appreciated the sincerity of that comment. When they met, there were only small pleasantries and chit-chat. Ms. Collins felt frantic because she knew she was running late. She claimed she was apologetic. As they sat down, the waiter came over and she ordered a margarita because it was her favorite. She had not eaten all day and was starving. Along with her margarita, she ordered calamari. She did not ask Mr. Sutton if he wanted anything to eat because she assumed he would have ordered something if he wanted it. At that point, Mr. Sutton already had a drink, which the judge found reasonable since he had been waiting for 45 minutes. As the case proceeded, more details emerged. By the time the waiter brought the food and the margarita, Miss Collins was on her phone. She was engaging with social media and posting content, acting as if Mr. Sutton was not even there. Ms. Collins admitted that she proceeded to order even more food. After finishing the appetizer, she ordered another margarita and a second starter of fried alligator. She explained that she did not like to drink on an empty stomach. The judge asked if she had reached her entree yet, and Ms. Collins said the alligator was still just a starter. For her main course, she ordered salmon. By this time, she had consumed 2 margaritas, calamari, and fried alligator, and now she had a plate of salmon on the way. She ended up having 3 cocktails in total. The judge requested the itemized bill to look at the charges. The judge then turned her attention to Mr. Sutton to hear his side of the story. Mr. Sutton confirmed that he had met Miss Collins on social media and found her beautiful. He had been interested very early on and had asked her out twice, only to be turned down both times. He expressed frustration about the first cancellation, noting that she could have taken 10 seconds to send a message earlier instead of telling him 10 minutes before the date when he had already driven there. Regarding the second cancellation involving her father, he wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. Finally, they agreed on a third date. Mr. Sutton made it very clear to the court that he had invited her for drinks, not dinner. He emphasized that he never said anything about a meal. Ms. Collins admitted that he had indeed said drinks. Mr. Sutton explained that they chose a time during happy hour, specifically 5:30. He arrived at 5:20, and at 5:25 he received a call saying she would be a few minutes late. He interpreted a few minutes as a small amount of time, but it turned out to be 45 minutes. He ordered 1 margarita, and the waiter gave him another one at the happy hour price because he felt bad for him. When Miss Collins finally arrived at 6:15, Mr. Sutton was already annoyed. He acknowledged she was gorgeous, but her apology felt vague and not heartfelt. As soon as she sat down, she ordered a drink and food. Mr. Sutton was surprised because he was not hungry, and they had specifically agreed on drinks. He did not eat fried food and was shocked that she started ordering cuisine. He wondered if they were going to split the check, since she was the one who was hungry. However, her behavior made him question everything. As soon as the food arrived, she ignored him and focused entirely on her phone and social media. Ms. Collins defended herself by saying she was taking photos and videos because she was with a handsome young man and it was part of her work as an influencer. Mr. Sutton, who worked as a substitute teacher for kindergarten through 12th grade, felt disrespected. While he was trying to engage in conversation, she was ordering her second round of drinks and the crispy alligator. He tried one more time to connect by asking about her father, but she ignored him completely. This made him doubt her previous excuses. When she ordered the salmon and a third drink, he reached his breaking point. He felt he would explode from anger and disrespect. He told her he was going to the restroom, but he actually went straight to his car and did not look back. He admitted to the court that he lied to get out of a horrible situation. The next day, Ms. Collins sent him a text message calling him a clown and saying he was rude for leaving her with the bill. Mr. Sutton responded by saying she was the rude one for being late and ignoring him. He had paid for his own drinks by sending her $20 digitally. Ms. Collins confirmed she received the $20. After hearing both sides, Judge Eboni K. Williams was ready to rule. She stated that while she disliked cheap men, she would not condone people using the guise of chivalry to date just for a free meal. She told Ms. Collins that dating for a meal showed low integrity and was anti-feminist. She said that by doing so, Ms. Collins was cheapening herself and becoming a version of a type of prostitute. The judge believed that if a woman is actively dating and investing time in a man, her expectations can rise, but in this case, Ms. Collins had operated in bad faith and wasted the time of Mr. Sutton. The court completely dismissed the claim of $218.69. Judge Eboni K. Williams ruled in favor of the defendant, and the case was closed. Mr. Sutton was relieved to never have to see her again, and the parties were led out of the courtroom.